We're back. It's the little podcast of horrors with James, Christina, and Chris. We're back. See, I told you we'd be back. What's up, everybody? We're here.
We made it.
We survived. The hiatus.
Silent. Now we don't know how to act. So
I don't know. It's been too long now. We're just like, we're out of whack. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. James just said, oh, nope, there it goes. It's glitching now. James likes to stay there in the shadows, quietly watching. See, we can see him, but the viewers are like, is it just Chris and Christina? And then James, at some point, inevitably comes in and surprises everybody. So.
He's the creepy uncle lurking in the back.
The creepy uncle lurking in the back. I like that. Okay. Well, guys, welcome to
the creepy uncle waiting in the back.
Mm-hmm. There he goes. There he is.
Got me.
Welcome to the first episode of season 2 of Little Podcast. And if you've forgotten, I'm Chris.
I'm James.
I'm Christina.
Nobody could forget you, James, ever. And as before, with first episode of season 1, I will be doing this episode. And as before, I shall be doing a ghost story. Or rather, several ghost stories.
Ooh.
Yes. First off, what's everybody drinking? I am having a glass of Rocktown Rye Whiskey. It's a local brewery here located in Arkansas. Fantastic, delicious, so many different bourbons and whiskeys. You should try it out if you're ever in town.
Please sponsor us.
Yeah, Rocktown, are you listening? I'm drinking Canada Dry ginger ale and water.
It's nice. I like it.
I'm not drinking anything because I slept in super late today and it was amazing. But it also means I just had coffee a little while ago.
Yeah, coffee's good. I didn't get to sleep in. But that's okay. So, all righty. Are we ready to get this show on the road?
I guess.
Okay. What? Damn. Well, today, as I said, we'll be talking about several ghost stories.
Bless you.
I'm going to leave that in. It just shows the viewers that I'm human. Yes, so we will be talking today about, I will be talking today about several ghost stories. I'll be telling you several ghost stories. These aren't just your regular ghost stories. No, these aren't the ghosts or spirits of just your ordinary Jack and Jill and Joe and Paul or whatever.
Yeah, what kind of show do you take us for?
No.
We only go for premium, pristine, high-grade ghosts.
Yeah. Or in other words, we're going to be talking about sightings of celebrity ghosts. I'm not talking about celebrities who have seen ghosts. I am talking about people who claim to have seen the spirits of dead celebrities.
Awesome.
And if it is no surprise, this will all be in and around Hollywood. Or should we say, haunted Hollywood?
It's gotta suck that, you think at least when you're dead, you're finally done with all the fans chasing you and paparazzi and all that kind of stuff.
Nope.
Surprise.
Well, you
Never
know
ends.
what,
Now you're
though?
on a ghost tour.
In a lot, no, in a lot of ways, this is their fault because, like, they're the ones sticking around. That was weird. Sorry, my mic just went.
Are you being haunted?
I don't know.
I think he is.
Just so we're clear, I love all of y'all. The celebrity ghosts I'm going to be talking about, I'm a fan of all of them, of their work. So to start this off, we're going to be discussing the ghost of one of my favorite actors as I was growing up as a kid, the ghost of George Reeves. Now, if you don't know who George Reeves was, I am sorry for you. George Reeves is best known for playing the role of Superman in The Adventures of Superman in the 1950s. Now, before you ask, no, I'm not that old, but I grew up watching reruns of the show, okay? Back off.
Okay, old man.
George Reeves played the pivotal character for 7 seasons on The Adventures of Superman. He also started the show off with a movie, Superman and the Mole Men, which was sort of like a backdoor pilot, I guess you could say. And it dealt with very modern, dealt with issues of the time of basically like racism, that sort of thing. But anyway.
No relation to Christopher Reeves, funnily enough.
I know, right? Like that was always an interesting thing. George Reeves and then Superman and then Christopher Reeve. Because it's George Reeves with an S and then Christopher Reeve, no S.
Yes.
Yeah. But interesting though. Yeah. So George Reeves is said to haunt his home, which is located in Benedict Canyon. Now, anybody who's not familiar with the ending of George Reeves, it is very tragic. While he portrayed the Man of Steel, he was really not known to be that much of a Boy Scout in real life. Drinking and got some was in a relationship with a married woman.
Ooh, bad boy.
Yeah, and the woman was apparently married to a top studio fixer who supposedly had connections to organized crime. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice choice.
Now,
but at least he's sticking to the American way part.
I know, right? Yeah. Now, as it goes, on the evening of his death, he was found shot in the head in what was called an apparent suicide, but obviously a lot of people thought he was murdered because of this. There was no investigation really conducted into his death. It was pretty much just suicide and that's it. But the problem was a lot of things that don't add up. One of them was he was very excited about the fact that he was fixing to relaunch his career as a television director. And, and so he didn't really fit the profile of somebody deciding to take the end of his life. But needless to say, that's what was ruled. And so many people have considered his death sort of unresolved.
Was this the one where he was found at his lover's house?
Well, so that's the thing. The lover bought the house for him.
Oh, okay.
And then he broke up with her.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So needless to say that after his death, it went back to her. And so she ended up owning it. And of course, the former lover, she actually attempted to rent it out over the next several years, but she had a difficult time keeping renters in the home due to unusual activity. According to one
super haunting.
Oh, you don't even know yet. Wait for this. According to one couple who rented the home, there was one evening while hosting a party that they heard a commotion coming from upstairs in the bedroom that he died in. Upon inspection, they found the room torn completely up. I mean, sheets were pulled off the bed, clothes were thrown everywhere, and this was common.
There were char marks on the wall from laser beam eyes.
Actually, it's heat vision, but whatever. But oftentimes, this was accompanied by the smell of gunpowder.
From the laser beam eyes.
That's it, from the laser beam eyes. Heat vision. Anyway, so, they were up there basically getting it all cleaned up. And after they had cleaned the room and they returned downstairs, they found all the drinks that that had been on the coffee table. They were now all in the kitchen. So that was strange, but okay. Sometime later, they found the whole bed had been moved across the room, like super strength. See, Superman. What? Why am I? Okay, forget it. Laser eyes is funny, but super strength, I just get stares.
And the drinks were cold from freeze breath.
Wouldn't that be a good thing, though? Don't worry, I will make those drinks cold and refreshing.
Best haunting
Gosh golly, Superman, thanks. You're welcome, Jimmy. then like suddenly Clark Kent comes in later and like, oh, Clark, Mr. Kent, you should have been in here. You must have missed Superman. Well, I'm sure he's a great host. And then looks towards the camera that's not there and winks.
So does that mean during the day it's a mild-mannered haunting?
I don't know, maybe that's true. Although he's not Batman, so he's Superman day and night. So I mean,
Well, he has a day job though, doing Daily Planet stuff.
Yeah, but he has the day job so he can keep his ear to the ground, and then when trouble happens, he turns into Superman. So maybe he's like one of those ghosts where it's like sometimes he's just regular Clark Kent, just ooh, and then later he's the ghost of Superman. And where did Clark go off to? I'm sure he's haunting some other house down the street. I don't know. But anyway, so lights would turn on and off. The experiences finally took a turn for the worse when they observed the ghost of Reeves himself standing in their living room in his Superman costume.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, he is wearing it in the afterlife.
Best haunting ever.
Wow.
And they're not the only ones who have seen him in the costume. Nearby neighbors have reported seeing him standing on the front lawn or walking across the front lawn. And even in the 1980s, while the house was being used as a set for a television show, many actors and crew members also saw him before he would quickly vanish. And they always saw him in the Superman costume.
Yeah, that's how you do a haunting.
I don't know why that's making it extra spooky to me.
I know, because it's like, what do you do? Because it's like, I mean, like, forget like the regular folks, but like if somebody like me who knew him, who enjoyed his show, if I like just walked in the living room and there's George Reeves, the ghost of George Reeves, standing in my living room at 3 a.m. wearing a Superman costume, like, do I freak out or do I be like, dude, George Reeves? Hey, man.
You just give him a knowing, confident, affirming nod.
Wink, because he always would wink at the end of the episodes to let you know that nobody else knows, just you and I, the viewers, know.
That's right.
You know, gosh golly, it's Superman. So needless to say, though, the house is still standing and activities continue to this day. I would love to just park out there for a while and see if I saw him. I would be excited. Dude, it's Superman, okay? I loved George Reeves. I actually had the pleasure of, well, I didn't get to meet him, but at my college graduation, did not know this at all, but I'm standing there, the ceremony begins and the procession starts with like all the professors like they do. And I see this guy and I'm like, that guy looks like Jack Larson. Jack Larson played Jimmy Olsen on The Adventures of Superman.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like watching this guy. I'm like, I'm just like, I'm in Arkansas, at a UCA graduation in Conway. You're not expecting this at all. And coincidentally, I was actually wearing I had a Superman medal that I had gotten after donating some money to the Christopher Reeve Foundation. And I always love that medal because it says on the back, "Go Forward." And so I was wearing it that day, just coincidentally. Anyway, during the ceremony, the president of the college stands up, starts to do his speech, and he goes, and now I'd like to introduce our esteemed guest of honor. You might remember him, might know him as Jimmy Olsen from The Adventures of Superman. And that's all I heard, because at this point, I'm just like, oh my God, it is Jack Larson.
That's cool.
Yeah, it turned out he was actually there to accept an honorary degree because his partner, the man he had been with, had gone UCA, and he had passed away several years ago. So
Oh,
Jack was there to, yeah, it was awesome. He was there to accept an honorary degree, which I thought was also really great considering we're in Arkansas and this is a same-sex couple and they're honoring him by giving it to his well-known, famous partner. So, but unfortunately, he left before the ceremony was over, and so I didn't actually get to say goodbye, or even say anything. I didn't get to say goodbye.
or scream after him running.
I thought about it for a second. I was like, oh, I can't. Sometimes I wish I had, but oh well, whatever.
His security team just jumps you.
So one of the Lex Luthor actors needs to die in that same place.
Wow.
Because then, oh man, you'd get like a personal show right there in your room.
Well, you know, George Reeves, his Superman never faced off against Lex Luthor. Like the character of Lex Luthor, the character of Lex Luthor never appeared in that show.
We can have a crossover. It's fine.
No, I don't think
just grab another Lex.
Just watch out, Gene Hackman. You know, Gene Hackman's like in his late 90s now.
So he needs to be hanging around that building a lot then.
I don't want Gene. No. Gene was, Gene needs to go on to the light, man. Anyway, moving across Hollywood.
I mean, could you imagine how awesome that haunting would be, though? Just
they're always
Superman constantly going at it in your room.
I mean, yeah. Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of our time. And then George Reeves comes up.
Hey, I'm trying to go to bed, guys.
Can you all stop? I don't want to do this today. Okay, I have to be up at like 6:30 in the morning. Can you guys just stop? No! Today I will foil you, Superman. I'd like to see you try, Lex. You've been trying for 20 years, and I'm still here.
That was a good Superman voice.
Oh,
Best
thanks.
haunting ever.
Best haunting ever. Well, here's another great haunting. Now moving across town. If you might be familiar with the late great John Belushi.
Oh yeah, okay.
John Belushi, one of my favorite actors, rose to prominence being of the original cast of Saturday Night Live, going on to do amazing films, Animal House, Blues Brothers, you name it. And so he was incredibly popular. It was incredibly sad that when he died of a heroin overdose in 1982, and he died at the Chateau Marmont. More specifically, he died in Bungalow 3. The last two people who actually saw him were Robert De Niro and Robin Williams. Both had to testify afterwards about what they saw, because drugs and being involved, that sort of thing. But John Belushi's death is actually what Robin Williams contributes to him becoming clean and sober. He took John Belushi's death very hard, and Robin at the time was dealing with his own addiction, and after John's death, that's when he got clean. So
oh wow,
yeah. But it doesn't seem like this was the end of the great John Belushi. No, in 1999, a family actually temporarily moved into this bungalow while their house was being renovated, and their 2-year-old son began to giggle at something or someone that no one else could see. And when they asked him, "What are you giggling at?" he would answer, "The funny man." Sometime later, the mother was flipping through a picture book of the celebrities that had stayed at the Marmont, because it's a popular place to stay for celebrities. And when she had come across the picture of Belushi, her son pointed and said, "The funny man."
That's ominous. The funny man.
Well, I mean, it's a 2-year-old. What can you say? But needless to say, it would seem that maybe John Belushi has not left that bungalow, or if he has gone to haunt apparently some places that he used to film at as well. One of the also sets from Animal House, there's the steps in front of this building that in the movie John ran up and he ran into the building. And people have claimed to this day that they have seen his ghost also running up those steps, almost like he is reliving that scene from Animal House.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You don't
That
really
one,
hear about ghosts haunting multiple places very often.
true. Although sometimes, usually, I've come across, especially doing this story, I came across stories when it came to celebrities, people supposedly seeing the ghost of a celebrity in several different places. One of which, though, yeah, is John Belushi. Marilyn Monroe, who I'm going to get to here in a second, she's been seen in several places. However, the one key place that I'm going to be talking about where the ghost of Marilyn Monroe has been seen is the Roosevelt Hotel. I have actually had the privilege of being at the Roosevelt Hotel. I got to walk into the lobby, although this was back 24 years ago. But even then, when I walked in, it was like walking back in time. I mean, it was.
Oh, that's cool.
It still felt like the 1940s. I mean, the feel, I mean, the history behind this building. I don't know how many celebrities have stayed there. This is where they held the first Academy Awards back in the 20s in a ballroom there. But and there's supposed to be several ghosts haunting this hotel, one of which is Marilyn Monroe. There is a famous mirror that used to be in her bedroom, and I think now it is back in her room. But when I went to visit, they had it in the lobby. Now, as the story goes, one of the cleaning ladies who was working in the lobby went over to the mirror to, clean it up, like you do. And as she is spraying it and cleaning it, she starts to see this figure of this blonde woman looking back at her. She turns around. Nobody is there. This is late in the evening. The lobby is empty. But when she looks back, she sees, as she can only describe, as the ghost of Marilyn Monroe, smiling, posing, and looking at her before she fades away.
I wonder why Roosevelt Hotel was significant to want to haunt it.
Well, because Marilyn stayed there a lot. In fact, she had a suite, her own private penthouse that she stayed at. It was the same room she would stay at all the time, and this mirror was always in that room. In fact, my sister, I think the last time that she went to California, man, I'm always impressed by how she talks to people, and she's not afraid, and she gets places that I'm too scared to try to go to. She ended up going to talk to, I think, somebody who worked there and had the authority, and ended up taking my sister upstairs to Marilyn's suite to show her. She showed my sister around. My sister took pictures. She showed me. She's like, see, there's the mirror. It's in her room now. And I'm like, yep. Because I went to the mirror. I saw this. I actually walked up to this very mirror of this story, hoping that maybe I would see the specter of Marilyn Monroe. Sadly, I did not. Another ghost who's supposed to haunt the Roosevelt is Montgomery Clift, who actually stayed there during the making of one of his movies. And in the movie, his character played, I want to say the trumpet or the trombone. And so back in the day, he would practice playing this instrument while he was filming this movie. And to this day now, people can hear him. Sometimes they hear somebody walking up and down that hallway, and they hear the faint sounds of that instrument being played. Now, something that should be noted, a lot of these sound to me sometimes what's called a residual haunt.
That's what I was thinking.
It's not so much them, but it's like a replay.
Like a sticky substance of them left behind?
Maybe. Like
it's really hard to scrub off.
Kind of. Well, it's almost like, it's like they're replaying. It's not so much them, it's just sort of, it's just a replay. It's like they're doing what they were doing then. And it's more like we're not seeing so much their ghosts, but we're just seeing the past. Just reruns. Yeah, basically it's a rerun, a visual rerun. Oh my God.
What?
Sorry, I just had the shit scared out of me.
Oh.
You just see her in your monitor.
No,
And
the
she
whole
struck a pose.
my mother's photo that's right here just fell off the wall, and when you didn't hear it,
No.
Nope.
it just went right next to me.
Oh my gosh.
Starting to get a little creeped out. Anyway, Hollywood is filled though with all kinds of these stories, and they usually revolve around heartbreak, disappointment, loss. The final story here
All the
is
things
going.
core to Hollywood life.
I know. This one takes the cake though, because this story is about the pig ant whistle.
The what again?
Yeah, no, I was like, what?
Sorry, Peggy Ant Whistle.
Oh, I thought you said
An ant
pig
whistle?
ant
Is
whistle.
that like how you call
Peg.
ants? to
Peg.
you?
I said Peg. Sorry. She went by Peg. She was a young
She had an ant whistle?
She was a young Hollywood starlet. She came to Hollywood, I mean, like the 20s. This is back in the day. And there's a reason you never heard of her, because she did a few small bit parts, but she could never seem to get that big role that she kept waiting for.
And then she became the Pied Piper of ants.
Oh man, that is not the guest in your house that you want.
It's Ant Whistle. Oh, maybe she can team up with Wax Off, you know.
I don't know who that is. I don't know what that means.
Your character, remember, or not your character, the lady on the train who died. And we were talking about how she should become like a villain. And James is like,
okay.
you know, like Candlewick or something. And she's got like the little wick symbol on her chest. You're muted, by the way, if you're talking, James. But I mean, yeah, it's like Ant Whistle. And didn't we call her Wax Off, or what did we call her? I don't know.
We didn't give her a name.
I don't know if we gave her a name. Well, either way.
But it's obviously the wick.
It is the wick.
Oh.
Sadly, Peg's career never got a chance, and she grew into despair, like so many people going to Hollywood, trying to find, live their dreams. And she decided she made the wrong choice to end her life, but she didn't go out quietly. She decided that she would climb the H in the Hollywood sign, which she did. The evening, let me look at my notes really quick. Sorry. Yeah. Entwistle. Yeah. Peg Entwistle. She climbed the Hollywood sign September the 16th, 1932. She took a look out over the town that she had hoped to be a star, and then she leapt to her death. Now, what's even more tragic is the very next day, her agent tried to find her to let her know that she had been chosen to star in a major motion picture.
What was it?
I don't know. I couldn't find out. Let's see here.
That's horrible.
According to the Wikipedia page, she was from Boston. She did some things on Broadway. She did some shows on Broadway. Let's see here. I saw it somewhere. And this is also in 1932. This is like the depth of the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Yeah, her death brought wide and often sensationalized publicity. Her funeral was held at the W.M. Strathens Mortuary in Hollywood. Her body was cremated, and the ashes were later sent to Glendale, Ohio, from where she came from. But I can't seem to find what the movie was that she had gotten picked up for. But yeah, needless to say,
that's horrible.
Yeah. But yeah, cause of death was listed by the coroner as multiple fractures of the pelvis. And she she even left a suicide note, which was published. And it read, "I'm afraid. I am a coward. I'm sorry for everything. If I had done this a long time ago, it would have saved a lot of pain." Which breaks my heart when I just read that. So,
yeah.
Hold
Poor
on.
honey. Are there any theories about this is going to be obvious and probably yes, but are there any theories about Hollywood just being cursed
Oh
in
yeah.
general?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We
because
should
it's
do an
filled.
episode on that.
Well, because think about it. I mean,
Hmm.
from what legend and stories say, what causes usually haunting? Unresolved crisis, pain. That town is full of it.
Yeah.
How many pegs have come to that town hoping for stardom, and they either, if they were lucky, they just left failing, but at the worst, died taking their own lives, or substance abuse, mental health.
I mean, like, why aren't there ever any hauntings just because they had a great life and had a great time there, and like, I'm just gonna hang out here.
Really quick, I just want to say that if you or somebody that you love is struggling with thoughts of suicide, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is now 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So if you know somebody who is struggling with this, please do not hesitate to call. Don't let your story end like Peg's, because she shouldn't have gone that way. Nobody should ever go that way. She had a lot more to give. And anyway, so moving on to past her death, this obviously was still not the end, since we're talking about hauntings. It is said that she haunts the area from which she took her own life. There are switchbacks all along those hills where the Hollywood sign sits, and people who reside nearby often walk on these switchbacks, these pathways, for exercise or just to get about and enjoy themselves. And
Right.
many people have reported many times seeing Peg walking along these pathways, usually someplace a little bit lower down, because when you're on a hill, you can look down, you can see the pathways going fairly far down. And people will often, looking around, they see this woman in 1920s, 1930s garb just walking. And every time they go to try to see this person closer and get to the point where they should meet up, she's not there. She's gone. But oftentimes, the smells of gardenias waver in the air, and gardenias were apparently her favorite flower. And they will smell gardenias even though there's no gardenias in the area, even during the summer when there's nothing growing out there and it's dry and it's hot. But the smell of gardenias waver in the air. So perhaps Peg is still walking about, still trying to find her way. So, yeah. But needless to say, yes, Hollywood is filled with these kinds of stories. I had to just eventually stop because of so many different stories that I kept coming across.
Yeah. You can make it a multi-parter.
I'm actually thinking I'm going to, because there's several more stories that I would like to share. And it's also kind of important to me because while these may be true or they may not be, these were real people who lived real lives, and all of them, their lives ended tragic. That's the one commonality in all of these ghost stories that I found in Hollywood. None of them seemed to die fulfilled.
Yeah, peacefully.
Yeah.
And they are just visiting places that they got the most joy from. No.
Now, with that said, I did find a few stories that while their ending wasn't so much tragic, it made sense why they may be seen still to this day. Like the specter who is seen visiting Marilyn Monroe's grave, but nobody knows who it is. It's just this figure that they have spotted in the mausoleum, usually standing in front of her grave. At first, they wondered if it was her spirit, but then many people reported that they saw that it looked mostly like a man. And these sightings seemed to begin right after the death of Joe DiMaggio, the man who was once married to her.
Oh.
And not only that, when he died, one of his last words were, I believe, Marilyn.
Oh.
Yeah, he never got over her. So, but that is the end of this episode. But if you liked it, please like, share, tell your friends. And thank you guys so much for being so patient and waiting for us to return. We hope that it was worth the wait, and we have many more stories and tales to come to you.
Yep. And you can find us at littlepodcastofhorrors.com.
Yep. You can also,
Um,
we also have a YouTube channel where
Mhm.
every episode is uploaded onto our channel, which, take a wild guess, Little Podcast of Horrors.
What else?
You can also email us at littlepodcasthorrors@gmail.com.
Thank you, Chris. Mine is totally blank.
I feel like James didn't banter so much. He just watched quietly from the shadows with his
Well,
curtains
I mean, this was
billowing mysteriously behind him.
It's kind of a bummer, I guess.
It
yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
was.
I'm not a monster. There's, it's just sad.
You're not. I'm not
I
a
know it's
monster.
sad.
I do want Gene Hackman to go there when he's near the end of that house and die, so his soul will be trapped in this building forever, so he can entertain the people that live there. But other than that, you know,
I mean, there are worse ways.
worse ways to spend eternity.
With Superman? Come on.
Well, he's not really Superman. They're actors, man. You know, you're making them perform forever. Haven't they done enough for us? Haven't they given us enough joy and enough stories? They should go to their rest.
Nah.
Of course.
They owe us their eternal life.
Superman is eternal.
That I agree with. Alrighty, kids. Well, until next time, stay spooky, everybody.
I was just thinking that.
Were you really?
Yeah. We're so cute.
I know, right? You're cute too, James.
Nah.
Yeah, he's fine.
He is.